Hi, superstars. We are doing science and we are learning about places plants grow. Look at page 108 in your science notebook. Two friends are talking about places where plants grow. Who do you think has the best idea? Carly says plants grow on land, and Jaden says plants grow on land and in water. Who do you think has the best idea? Well, plants can live anywhere as long as their basic needs for water, nutrients, and light are met. So, plants grow on land and in water. Look at the picture of this plant. What words tell about the plant? What do you wonder about where plants grow? That's what we're going to learn. So let's get started. We're going to watch a video about Kayla. She wants to be a landscape architect when she grows up. A landscape architect is interested in how plants grow and survive in different environments. Let's listen.
Hi, I'm Kayla, and every spring I help my grandma plan our flower garden, just like a landscape architect. Landscape architects make plans and decide what plants go in a garden for a museum or park. They might also help businesses plan what the landscape around their building will look like too. To make the gardens look nice, a landscape architect needs to know a lot about plants. Plants have different needs. Some require a lot of sun, some require a lot of water. They also need to know how big plants will grow. Our garden gets a lot of shade, so we need to pick flowers that don't need a lot of sun.
Kayla?
Oops, my grandma's calling me. I better get back to planning our garden.
Turn to page 109 in your science notebook. So you looked at the picture of that plant. What do you wonder about where plants grow? Kayla says, I wonder if plants grow on land and in water. So I want you to draw your ideas of where different kinds of plants grow. So I want you to think about where you've seen plants grow. It could be when you were taking a walk in your neighborhood. Did you notice where plants were growing? Maybe in your backyard. Maybe you went hiking in the mountains. So I want you to draw your ideas of the different places that plants grow. Now turn to page 110 in your science notebook. Where do plants grow? You're going to make a prediction and circle your answers. Number 1, what kind of plants will you find inside? Will you find land plants, water plants, or land and water plants? So what do you think? What's your prediction? What do you think you would find inside? Land plants, water plants, or land and water plants? Number 2, what kind of plants will you find outside? Land plants, water plants, or land and water plants? Go outside to find out where plants can grow. Where do you see 2 different plants growing? What types of plants are they? Land plants or water plants? So you can go for a walk with somebody. You can go in your backyard, look around where you live, make sure an adult is with you, and make sure that you do not touch or taste any of the plants. only observe. So go outside with an adult and tell us what you see. On page 111, you're going to record data. You're going to record what you found. Where did you see plants grow? Draw pictures. So in the box, I want you to draw places that plants grow. It could be near a sidewalk. It could be on a hill. So you're going to draw the places that you saw plants grow. Let's do vocabulary for plants and animals. Places plants grow. So what does this look like to you? There's tall trees. This is a forest, a place where there are many tall trees. It's a forest. What does this look like? A desert. It's a very dry place, but there are plants that can live in dry places with very little water. What does this look like? The Arctic. It's a very cold place near the North Pole. The Arctic. Plants can grow there. What does this look like? A pond. It's a small body of fresh water. Do you see how there's plants around the pond? And there's some plants right in the pond too, if you look right at the edges. Look at this place. It's very green. This shows a climate, the usual rain and temperature in a place. So do you think it rains a lot here? It looks like it does. So the climate must be rainy and sunny. We're going to watch a video about where plants grow.
This is a cactus plant. Its home is in the desert. The desert is very hot and dry. The cactus gets plenty of sun in the desert. It does not rain much in the desert. Some cactus plants have really long roots. They can store water for a long time. Cactus plants also do not have leaves. Instead, they have needles to protect the water they store. This is a wildflower. Wildflowers can grow in lots of different places. These wildflowers are growing in a forest. Wildflowers need a lot of sun to survive. They grow in open areas of the forest where the trees do not block the sunlight. This is a plant called Arctic poppy. They call the Arctic home. Other Arctic plants include cotton grass and Arctic willow. Many Arctic plants have very dark colors on their leaves. The dark colors help them absorb sunlight. These are water lilies. They can be found floating on the surface of a pond. The roots and stems of the plant remain underwater, attached to the bottom of the pond. The big green leaves float on the surface, collecting the sunlight. The flowers are open during the day and closed at night. Water lilies often provide good hiding places for frogs, fish, turtles, and other aquatic creatures. They help their environment. Now that you know about where different plants live, look at all the plants that live near you.
Do you remember how desert cacti store water? They have shallow roots, and the shallow roots collect water and they store water in their stems. Do you remember why Arctic plants have dark colors on their leaves? Yes, to better absorb sunlight. These are water lilies, and they attach underwater to the ground at the bottom of where they live. How do water lilies help the environment? Well, they provide a place where fish, frogs, and turtles can hide. Go to page 112 in your science notebook. These are some words that we were talking about in our vocabulary. Arctic, climate, desert, forest, and pond. So you watched the video. Where can you find plants that live on land? I want you to circle one of the vocabulary words that's going to show you or tell you where plants that live on land, where could you find them? Can you find them in the Arctic, in a forest, in a pond, in a desert? And then circle a word that will help you answer the question, where can you find plants that live in water? All right, so circle your two words, and then I want you to draw a picture of the plants that can grow on land or water. You can go back in the video and watch it again if you need to. Now turn to page 113 in your science notebook. Which plant grows in the desert? Circle the answer. Is it a cactus or a water lily? Number 2, draw a place where very tall trees can grow. If you need to look at the video again, you can go back and watch it to answer these questions. Now turn to page 114. You're going to make a prediction and you're going to circle your predictions. Now, a prediction is a statement of what you expect to observe in the future. Number 1, which plant will survive in the desert? Remember, the desert is very dry. Which plant do you think will survive in the desert? A cactus or this evergreen tree? All right, number 2, which plant will survive in the rainforest? The rainforest is a forest that has a lot of rain. Do you think a cactus will survive in a rainforest or this flower? All right. All right, we're going to look at the images of different regions and think about similarities and differences in the plants that grow in these different climates. Think about the plants that you see in this image. What do you notice about the colors, the grass, and the trees? Notice the plants that are growing in this tundra. Most of the plants do not look like they're living. How do the plants in this climate compare to the plants from the previous image? Here's the previous image. There's so much green. They look like they get a lot of water, don't they? And look at how dry these ones look. They look dead. They're not. This image has many living plants. Some of the plants are very tall. Some plants are very tiny and are growing on the rocks in the stream. How are the plants growing in this climate similar to the plants in the other images? And how are they different? What type of things do you think live in the Arctic climate? Do you see any living things in this picture? Compare this image to the images of plants growing in other climates. Let's turn to page 115 in your science notebook. You are going to draw a plant that lives in the desert. What kind of climate does the desert have? Do you remember? Is it wet and rainy, or is it dry and hot? And then you're going to draw one that lives in the rainforest. So what is the climate like in the rainforest? Does it rain or is it dry? So I want you to draw a plant that lives in the desert and one that lives in the rainforest. Which plant grows in the desert? The cactus grows in the desert. So I want you to trace the word desert. On page 116, you're going to make a prediction and you're going to circle your answer. They're asking, where will the bean plants grow best? So what you can do is you can get 3 cups and you can get 3 just paper cups and 3 beans and some soil. You're going to need a plastic spoon and some water. So you put the soil in the cups and then you put the bean in the soil, you water it, and then you place each cup in a different place. One in a sunny place, one in a dark place, and one maybe with a little bit of sun. And then you watch it and see which one grows better in 5 days. Now you can do this with your mom or dad. You do not have to, but if you want to see how these plants grow, you can try to do it. So you just get beans and you put them in soil in paper cups. You water them and you put one in the sun, one in the dark, and one where it's not too sunny or too dark. And then after 5 days, you can see if your prediction was correct. So right now you're going to make a prediction. Where do you think the bean plants would grow the best? In the sun or in the dark? So make your prediction. On page 117, you are going to draw what you see after 5 days, or you can just draw what you predict you would see in 5 days. So you're going to put where each plant was. So if plant 1 was in the sun, you're going to write sun. If plant 2 was in the dark, you're going to write dark. And if plant 3 was in the shade, you're going to write shade. And then you're going to draw a picture of what you think the plants would look like in each of those locations. So you can do a prediction and just guess what you think happened to the 3 plants. Which one grew the tallest? Turn to page 118 in your science notebook. You're going to create a plant that will survive in your climate where you live. So how is the weather here? Is it cold? Is it warm? Is it sunny? Does it snow? Think about the climate where you live and draw a plant that can survive. Then you're going to label the plant parts. They have a stem, they have leaves, they have roots, Some have flowers. So draw a plant and label the plant parts of a plant that will survive in the climate that you live in. We are on page 119. Where do different kinds of plants grow? So we spoke of the different places they grow and the different kinds of plants. I want you to write your answer. If you need to watch the video again, you can go and do that and then come back and write your answer. Spelling doesn't count, so I want you to sound it out. Make sure you put your name and date on each paper. Until next time, superstars, have a wonderful day. Bye.